The little girl collapsed on his doorstep just as the storm cut the power to the entire block. The woman holding her whispered only 3 words before fainting. "Please, don't ask questions." He was a poor single father who barely had enough food for tomorrow. He didn't know her name. He didn't know her past. And he had no idea that by opening that door, he was about to change his life forever. Ethan Cole had learned long ago not to trust miracles. Life hadn't given him many reasons to. At 36, he was a widower, a father, and a man surviving paycheck to paycheck in a small, peeling apartment on the edge of town. His hands were always rough from work, his eyes always tired, but his heart still had room for kindness, even when logic told him not to. That night, the rain was relentless. Thunder rattled the windows as Ethan tucked his 8-year-old son, Noah, into bed. Just as he turned off the lamp, there was a knock at the door. Not loud. Not confident. Just desperate. When Ethan opened it, he found a woman soaked to the bone, clutching a frail little girl whose skin burned with fever. The woman looked exhausted, terrified, but oddly composed, like someone used to control who had suddenly lost it. "My daughter is sick," she said, her voice shaking. "Please. Just for tonight." Ethan hesitated. He had no spare room. No money. No medicine except half a bottle of cough syrup. But when the little girl whimpered, he stepped aside without another word. That night, Ethan gave them his bed and slept on the floor beside his son. He boiled water, wiped the child's forehead, and stayed awake listening to her breathing. The woman, who introduced herself only as Anna, watched him in silence, her eyes filled with something deeper than gratitude, fear. Over the next few days, Anna never touched her phone. She avoided questions. She flinched whenever a car slowed outside. Ethan didn't pry. He knew what it felt like to be running from pain. Money was tight. Ethan skipped meals. He sold his old watch to buy antibiotics. When Noah asked why the girl looked sad even when she smiled, Ethan didn't have an answer. What Ethan didn't know was that across the city, private investigators were tearing the streets apart looking for a woman who had disappeared with her daughter. After escaping a life of unimaginable wealth and danger. The truth came on the 7th day. The little girl was better now, laughing softly with Noah, drawing pictures on the floor. Ethan was washing dishes when the knock came, firm this time. Controlled. Dangerous. 3 men in dark suits stood outside. "Mr. Cole," one of them said, already knowing his name. "We're here for Miss Eleanor Hayes and her daughter." Ethan felt the world tilt. Eleanor Hayes. The billionaire CEO whose face was on magazine covers. The woman rumored to have vanished after exposing corruption inside her own company. Anna stepped forward then, calm and unafraid. "I told you he didn't know," she said quietly. Ethan was stunned. Angry. Hurt. But more than anything, confused. She told him everything that night. How money had made her a target. How her daughter's illness was worsened by stress and fear. How she ran because no amount of wealth was worth her child's life. "And you?" Ethan asked. "Why come here?" "Because when I knocked," she said softly, "you opened the door without asking who I was." The next morning, Ethan expected them to leave, and never look back. Instead, weeks later, a letter arrived. Then another. Then a job offer. Then medical bills paid in full. But the biggest gift came quietly. Ethan was offered partnership, not charity. His honesty, sacrifice, and integrity had earned him something far greater than money, respect. Years later, when reporters asked Eleanor Hayes what changed her life, she didn't talk about boardrooms or billions. She talked about a poor single father who gave up his bed, his meals, and his comfort, without knowing who she was.